Hey, welcome back. This is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. Where else? Today we're going to talk about how to be irresistible to men and love all the attention. I'm going to give you 5 solid tips to be irresistible. Look, let's be real for a second here. There isn't a woman or man alive that doesn't enjoy the attention of the person they desire. We love it because it does so many different things for us. It validates our desirability, it makes us feel special, it makes us feel valuable, and so much more. The thought that someone finds us so attractive and compelling that they can't even control their own feelings and their own actions, well, that's the ultimate statement of our sexual power, and it's almost magical. But it's easy to assume that you know what men want and what men find irresistible in a woman. That's why I'm here. I'm going to show you what really works. So let's start with tip number 1, tame your emo. Men love women for their emotions, and contrary to what you might think, especially if you read a lot of the crappy magazines out there, men have a lot of emotions for women. They do. We just don't always, we don't offer them up to you. In fact, men enjoy talking about emotions in that safe context of a relationship that has a safe zone around it that gives him the ability to discuss his feelings. Unfortunately, safety is something that many women don't understand as a man sees it. But one thing will stop a man from expressing his emotions to you, and that's if you're already over-expressing your feelings to him. It shuts us down. Too much emotional expression floods our nervous system and it makes us want to withdraw. So you have to keep a tight rein on your emotional expression with a man. Yes, including the tears. Remember, I'm not saying you can't express emotions to a guy. Far from it. What I'm saying is you do need to be aware of his state before you unburden yourself of all those emotions going on inside you. The more highly charged the emotion you're feeling, the more you need to check in on where he is before you launch into that conversation. When a woman demonstrates this kind of calibration and control over herself, men find it irresistibly confident and sexy. In fact, if you ever heard that saying that men like confident women, this is the reason why. Confident women tend to have a firm sense of their own emotional state, and they also have a powerful sense of self-control when expressing their emotions. That is the definition of the confident woman to a man. All right, be irresistible to a man. Tip number 2, turn on the enigma. One thing is for sure, men love a mysterious woman. Nothing captivates us more than that. When we meet a woman and she's the quiet and silent type, she arouses our interest and we find her simply irresistible. I can hear that video from the 80s playing in my head. So the more mystery you can create for yourself, at least at first, the more likely you're going to get him interested and addicted to you. All men are driven by what we don't know and what we don't possess. Keep that in mind. It's a rule about men. We are driven by what we don't know and what we don't possess, which is the key for you getting him to chase you and want you. When a woman over-discloses, it's kind of like somebody coming up and telling you the end of a mystery movie. Imagine you're watching a mystery and somebody comes in and tells you, Professor Martin did it in the study with a hammer. Well, now you've got nothing left to watch for. There's no reason for you to watch this movie. And worse than that, it's also ruined the hour or so that you might have already invested in the movie. So keep the mystery going for as long as you possibly can. Don't be in such a hurry to get to intimacy. It'll happen all on its own. Here's a few things that women do that ruin the mystery for guys. First one is talking too much about themselves in the first few dates. We do want to know about you, but just do it sparingly at first. If you tell us too much, which is easy to do when you're nervous and excited, it can be a red flag for a man. Another thing you do is hinting too much that you like him. Men know intuitively that you like us when you said yes to the date. That's all we need. That's a given. And of course, sleeping with him way too soon is another deal killer for guys. This is one of the most common mistakes women make that destroys the attraction in a guy. I'm going to explain that one in the next tip, which is tip number 3, save your sex. If you've been reading any of my tips or any of my articles or watching any of my videos or listening to my podcast, you got to know by now that I'm a total believer in old school romance. There's a reason it used to work, right? I mean, all you have to do is look at how much our modern habits, our modern technology and technological methods of connecting with people and dating, look at how they failed to make dating any easier. In fact, in spite of all the great strides forward, all the new methods we have of meeting people like online dating and all these different ways we have of finding the soulmate of our life, dating is harder than ever. There's nothing wrong with being a girly feminine woman. In fact, if you'd like to be more successful with men, I'd highly encourage it. But when you give up sex too quickly, you found yet another way to ruin the movie for him. Men take time to bond emotionally with a woman, and all the teasing and build-up on that first time you go to bed, or up to that first time you go to bed with each other, is what makes him stick around after the first time. We're always testing you. Men are always constantly testing you to see if we can get into bed with you quickly, and when we do, that's an immediate fail. Because I guarantee you, you will keep more men interested in you by waiting than you will lose by hurrying into bed. So hold off, wait until it's right. And if you're scared that he's just going to jump in bed with another woman and she'll steal him away because you were a prude, guess what? He's just letting himself be led around by his pecker, and you deserve better than that. Be irresistible. Tip number 4, be easy to be with. Let's be honest right up front here. If you're not easy to be around, men will avoid you. It's kind of a duh, right? If it sounds like the biggest duh you've heard all year, I'd probably agree with you. But you'd also be surprised at how many people break that rule simply because they weren't aware that they were being so high maintenance. Do you want to know what men want more than anything? His number one goal is peace. Men love harmony. So when a woman brings in turmoil and drama and complication into our life, we will stop and pause and see if it's really all worth it. In fact, in many cases, when a man pulls away from you, he's really taking a breather to see if he's still feeling that easy and pleasant vibe with you. When a woman makes a big deal out of small things, it's going to turn him off. Think about this in your own life. Of all your friends, who do you typically hang around with? That's right, if I were to guess, I would bet those are the people that you find it easiest to be around. Easiest to talk with, easiest to sit in silence with, easiest to be understood by, which means they don't make your life more complicated and difficult. So remember, easy to be with. All right, be irresistible to him. Tip number 5, be a girl. I have never seen so much confusion about this simple fact of being a woman these days. Another of the myths that were being sold is because women have every right, and you do, to do anything that men can do, well, that also means that you should take on roles that you don't find natural, comfortable, or compelling to you. Well, one of those roles is to be more masculine in the context of a relationship. It's not comfortable, it doesn't work out, and it almost always screws up the relationship. Because you're told what? Be tough, be aggressive, be as loud as a man. Look, I'm not saying you should be weak and submissive. That's not it at all. Again, at the risk of sounding like a 1950s dinosaur, which I'm not, even though I guess a lot of people like to comment on that on my videos, I want to state emphatically that I am fully supportive of women doing whatever the heck they want to. However, when you act like the other polarity, masculinity, be prepared for very few guys to find you attractive or interesting. Simple fact of life, straight men are attracted to women, not other men, or even better stated, masculine desires feminine. Now, I'm not sure how this got confused over the years, but it's pretty important. Men aren't interested in women who want to compete with them. We're not interested in women who don't have a need for us. Men are not interested in acting like women, at least not the men you want. Let me say it yet another way. We want feminine women. Look, if you want to discover the secrets of irresistible desire, how to make a man so overwhelmed with desire for you that he must have you, you got to understand what's going on in a guy's head. And I can show it to you. I've got a special report I want you to see. Go on over to datingadviceguru.com/desire report. That's datingadviceguru.com/desire report, all one word. And while you're at it, you got your 3 things you got to do. Make sure you like this video, make sure you leave me some comments, ask some questions, tell me what you think, I don't care, anything you want to say, and subscribe so you keep getting this good stuff. This is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. Live and love with passion.